it wasn't me alone. Yeah, I still believe that you need a team to actually achieve something a bit bigger. So that time when we were Ange's client, we were three friends starting this together, and this gadget shop was going slowly, but nothing bigger. But then other people came, new opportunities came, and in one moment, I think like after 2 years, actually with Ange we owned company together.
Anže, Matej, hello.
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 Anže, I would like to hear your story about meeting Matej, because he was first your client. So explain a little bit where you started and how you two came together.
Okay. So I started with a small company, working there like a student, and I was doing mostly graphic design and things like banners and so on. And then I switched to e-commerce because the things with websites became much more repetitive, and was bored with that. So e-commerce is very complex, and you have a lot of things like orders, customers, and so on. That's why I started working in Degriz. I was their student, and then I take over the company because I was very into this e-commerce, and the owner weren't. So, and I did a couple of projects, and there was a project with online shop with gadgets, and there Matej comes in. He was my client first, and there our story starts.
You did what for him?
E-commerce shop, like everything from design to programming.
Mm-hmm. And how come that you still work together after all these years?
He was my client, but I saw a lot of potential in him because, he was new to this, but like he got very into details of everything, from ordering stuff to marketing, and he was really focused and did a lot of hard work because he had another job, but he never slept and just worked. So.
How do you remember that, Matej?
Yeah, similar. Actually, yeah, he was actually he made the first shop that I ever had for me, and it was a gadget shop. I think it still exists, and that's how we met actually. And in the beginning, it was more like client and service provider relationship. But then actually we became friends and exchanging ideas and experience. I was always curious, didn't have problem just to jump into something new and learn. Ange at that time knew a lot and still knows a lot about the technology and e-commerce, but didn't go so deep in marketing. Of advertising, sales, because you can make a great shop, but if that shop doesn't sell, why do you have it? It's just a cost. So I think it was a friendship and synergy between us, also in person, and it still remains. It's still similar. Although we are now in separate companies, he's focusing now on even deeper in website development, programming, designing. I in the studio more in marketing part, yeah. But actually it works even better. So each of us focuses on its own thing, and we are friends and working in partnerships.
Yeah.
Synergy is.
Can I just say one thing? That part that you say that if you have a site and no marketing, it's very important. It's really true, because I had one very good project that was known in Slovenia, and everybody wanted to have the exact shop like that. And I made like 5 different shops, and none of them was so successful the first one, because just of the marketing. Because first had such a strong marketing that you just can't copy like shop. And you can copy Facebook and have it so successful as it's Facebook, you know. You need to have marketing. I think marketing in e-commerce project is the most important one, because you can have a simple page with just text and telephone number. You can sell things, you know, if you're good marketing that page.
That's what I wanted to ask. You had good synergy, but you have to have something more to work together with two companies. What are the common points? Where do you cooperate?
Okay, so when we started, I was not good at marketing, and I see his potential that he can be very good, because when we started we were like going crazy for Slovenia, because we were spending like so much money that we have to call the bank every single day to increase our limits. And it was some of his first marketing job, so it was a really big task for him, and he did it great. So we made a lot of orders. Every time if you look at the Facebook, there was one ad from us there. So for the start it was really big, like how do you say?
It was a big jump.
Yeah.
And what, if I may, what happened was, we started with a couple of other friends. It wasn't me alone. Yeah. I still believe that you need a team to actually achieve something a bit bigger. So that time when we were Ange's client, we were 3 friends starting this together, and this gadget shop was going slowly, but nothing bigger. But then other people came, new opportunities came, and in one moment, I think like after 2 years, actually with Ange we owned company together, and completely different line, different niche, with potential to grow. And in that time, Amazon didn't exist in Slovenia. People didn't know how to order abroad. So if you just know how to position the website correctly, do the marketing well, you will grow. And we started with this new company. I think we were 4 of us. So we knew what has to be done, but we had to divide the responsibilities. So Ange naturally took over the development, programming, designing. Another friend who was a bit older took over the finances. Third one, logistics, because you have to ship the products out. And nobody wanted to take over the marketing. And I think I was the least competent, the least experienced guy for this stuff, coming from medicine. I thought, okay, let's jump into this and we will see what happens. So with Ange, we naturally had to communicate daily about this. I was learning on my own and I was learning with him. And the objective was, let's find a way how to promote these products and sell them. And then it started exactly what Ange said. It became much bigger that we were actually, in one moment we were not capable for that kind of a growth. We were not experienced enough yet. So
yeah, it was going crazy.
It went, yeah.
We received so many orders that we could hardly pack everything, You remember we were writing by hand every address on the box, and
yeah.
we had blisters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's mostly because of good marketing, you said.
Yeah.
But I think it's not the only thing that's important with e-commerce. What do you have to look for when you are putting up an e-shop?
There are a lot of things, because it's really funny. I already made like a couple of online shops before I started doing e-commerce for myself, and I thought, okay, I know everything about e-commerce, but I was so wrong. There are a lot of like small things. Like for example, we had a problem when we have like a lot of cash on delivery orders, but we didn't call clients to tell them, okay, the package is the postage, please go pick it up. And one day we received like a huge box full of return packages. And it was a big financial problem for us because it was like 300 packages, and we paid for shipping for one like 3 euros one way and 3 euros back, and 10 euros for marketing. So for every package we were like 20 euros in minus, you know, and it was like 200 packages that we got returned. And it was like just a small mistake. We could fix that easily, but just like doing some email or SMS campaign or something like that.
Reminding people, to take the. You have to go into details. So to be honest, I still don't see like on the technical side any kind of a connection between my medicine background and marketing or e-commerce. But the devil is in details. So what I was doing before, there's a lot of system protocols, double checking. So when actually with Anže, we realized that we have to go back to the drawing table to actually have like a very detailed protocol or system, that it's constantly being updated. It means that from choosing a product to doing, from doing the research, what kind of a product you will put on the shop, then finding from who you will actually buy this product, then there are all sorts of details that you have to understand and do well. And then, of course, when you do all of this, when you start selling, doing the commercials, shipping the products, you have to be super careful not to overlook something, because otherwise you will lose money. And any kind of mistakes you do are expensive. At that time they were expensive, very expensive for us. Now it's even more expensive because it's just much more competitive. At that time, I think the advantage that we had was there was almost no competition. I still remember that was actually a good story. In time, then nobody actually used Facebook for advertising that I knew, at least not in Slovenia, or maybe even Europe. And she said, but why don't you try it? Because we knew a couple of bigger shops, brands like Studio Moderna was very known, and we knew a couple of people there. They were not doing advertising on Facebook. So and she said, but try it, maybe that works. And we put our payment cards in. And in the evening after work, I was just playing and doing some ads. And next day, I actually went to one workshop from one guy that was at that time doing this kind of advertising in Slovenia. And I put in commercials and I wait. And I went in bed. Next day, I went to that workshop and I was checking on my computer what's happening. And at that time, technology was less developed, so I was actually getting text messages for every order. And I was sitting there, and that guy was actually explaining how to do this in a correct way. And I was thinking, oh, so stupid! I did it completely wrong. I did, and he still is. I think he's Clement Strutz, amazing guy. Yeah? He was explaining how to do the ads in a specific way, and I was doing completely different. Yeah? And in one moment, orders just started to come in, just because of one ad performing super good, super well, And I was thinking, that's crazy, how you can do such a difference just making one little thing very well. I had luck, beginner's luck.
So with the ads you made completely wrong, but the orders came in, or did you change ads before that?
No, that was actually my first, I think it's like 2009. so many years ago. I think at that time, just still the advertising on, at least on Facebook, people didn't know how to do it. So it was less regulated, no competition, much less developed. So it was my first campaign, my first couple of ads that I put into media, and it was a beginner's luck. Yeah. So the interesting stuff here is that there is no wrong or right. Everything is just a process of testing, optimizing, and learning on your mistakes. So I think now there are many schools, universities for web development, marketing as well. But that time, these kind of things didn't exist. The only thing was to actually go, try, experiment, learn, optimize. If possible, also write down what you learned. Let's say a little playbook. Yeah, so you know what works, what doesn't work, and that's the way how you actually scale. How we scaled and how you still scale the e-commerce sales. Just now that it's much more advanced, difficult, competition, saturation, and so on.
But that part is important with the testing. You know,
Yeah.
you have to try new things and test everything, test, because even choosing the right products to sell. You remember, we had okay, this is the perfect product. It would sell like crazy, but we had to buy another one because of the manufacturer's demands, and it was in reality this was selling really bad and the other one was selling really good. You know, you never know. And with the prices, you know, we were selling like anti-age cream for like 20 euros, and we just tested with 40 euros. It was selling better with 40 euros mark price. It's it's not logical, you know. But
we literally in one point when we were experimenting, we literally were researching. You know, even before we found the product, we knew what's the problem we would like to solve. So we didn't start with the product, we started with the problem. So it was then just to find the right supplier, and usually we were searching for suppliers around Europe. And at that time, the GLS and this kind of delivery solutions didn't offer this kind of a convenience that now you have. So we literally went with a car or with a van, and we were driving the products back in Slovenia. Yeah? So first we were actually searching what's the problem that it exists on the marketplace, what's the price for media from clicks to impressions. So we actually calculated the risk, and then we went to the product. Yeah, and at that time you could do this kind of stuff because others didn't do it. Yeah, we were actually one of the few, not only in Slovenia, I think also in Europe. Yeah, so I think we had some advantage because we were so new, maybe also naive, and experimenting a lot. Yeah. So until a certain level, this is an advantage. Yeah. But when this grows to big numbers, yeah, and if you don't have an experience how to manage finances and relationships, and that's this actually the key things in life and in business especially. If you don't have an experience, sooner or later you will do bigger mistakes and things go, because usually there's a fluctuation, yeah. Things go also down. So in our case it went up a lot, yeah, and it went also down, yeah.
yeah.
So all of these were very, very interesting experiences, yeah.
Yeah, we made a lot of very expensive mistakes, but we learned a lot with that. So I can say, and he can say to his clients, you shouldn't do that. And that's like, it's priceless. There was a lot of problem like with the cash flow and returns and not products not having all the right ingredients and so on.
All sorts of details, yeah.
I'd like to know more about this process. maybe from you, Anže, researching for the problem on the market. How do you go about that?
Okay, at that time we know that the main problem was the weight loss problem. So with the wine store, we were always focusing on products that fix that like easily weight loss problems. But in reality, you just have to work out and eat healthy food, you know. But people prefer to like take a tablet or use a belt to massage or something like that. So we started from there, and if you asked how to find that problems, you can look at the Google search trends, you know, what keywords are trending right now. And from there, you see how many people are looking for some things, and you find a solution for that, you know.
Mm-hmm. First, I must say one thing, yeah. Now, when I'm working on other projects, advising clients, I don't advise them to do things in the way we did that time, yeah, because those things worked at that specific moment, yeah. And also personally, I don't believe in doing marketing this way, you know, like in the way that we were describing right now. But they were actually very, very valuable lessons for us, how to do things differently. But it's exactly as Anže said, yeah. It's about doing the research, experimenting, observing the marketplace, what's happening, and improving your process, yeah. From actually finding a problem, finding a product, and all the way to shipping this product, but not only shipping, yeah. Money coming to your bank account, yeah. Because if you just ship it out, client doesn't accept the product, and you just have a cost, huge cost.
We should tell the story how naive we were when we were thinking like, okay, we made a lot of money, but in reality we made like 50,000 euro minus
loss, yeah.
Loss.
And because of the returns, or why?
Many factors, yeah.
Because I don't know, because we didn't look at the financial data. Okay, he know like I have to like spend maximum 10 euros per one order, but that calculation was wrong. It was probably more like 9 euros, you know. So every euro for an order was minus. So if you make a lot of orders, like 1,000 per day, like that's 1,000 euros per day minus, you know. So that was a big shock. we were either thinking about buying ourselves like some fancy things, and one even bought himself a car, brand new. But reality was different.
At that time, it was you know, 15 years ago. It's not, you know, historically speaking, it's not a lot, yeah. But in our space, digitally speaking, it's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm now using that example of there are many platforms, and there are many people who know much more than we do, yeah. But I think our story is interesting because we were actually doing this as owners and learning, actually, you know, feeling this in our pockets, yeah. Doing our mistakes and taking the responsibility. We are not saying that we did everything right. No, you know, we did a lot of mistakes. Some things we would even not do anymore. We would do it completely different. But you know, it's again about, you know, do you learn from mistakes or not, or do you improve on those mistakes or you don't improve? So when I was before saying about, let's say, Facebook advertising, at that time, if you were spending 10, 20,000 per month, it was a lot of money, still is. So at that time, if actually you spend this money, you had like a private, you know, you had a telephone number of account manager directly from Facebook, yeah. Now you need to spend, I don't know, millions, yeah. So it was easy to find a way how to break through, and we were doing this constantly. So, but because we were actually owners or co-owners, we were 4 of us, and so it means that the money that was in was also ours, yeah, and also doers. We were also operators doing all of this. So the team was us, 4 of us, and then slowly some other people came that were employed and so on. It's not easy because you have to always switch between different levels, yeah, from looking things from the bird's eye perspective and then going into all these details. And both is important. You need a vision, you need the direction, but you also need the details of doing all of this, yeah. So if you lose yourself too much in the details, then sooner or later something will go wrong on the relationship basis or financially, and it was happening, yeah. And if you're too much on the big picture, yeah, just focusing on the bigger stuff, yeah, then things won't perform. So that's, I think nowadays it's even a bigger challenge. Yeah? So now is when things are so competitive, other e-commerce owners, they need really a good strategy. They need a team, internal or external, and then any kind of mistakes you do, they're even more expensive. So when with Anže, I think when we are speaking with our clients, our partners, I think that whenever they have certain problems, we can literally feel them, because when what Anže was before saying, like at that time still, depends who you are, how you see, but if you're not like from a rich background, yeah, looking at a whole of like 50,000 that, either we close this and share this loss, yeah, or we find a way to fix this, yeah. And either if you choose one or another, it's hard work, and you have to take responsibility, do some soul searching, and go forward. And we did it. Yeah, it wasn't easy, but we did it, and we learned and we grew. But I think more sustainably.
I think this part is important, because when we're so much in minus, we could just like close the company, and so like our delivery service would take the loss and everything. But we decided to fix everything. We called everybody. Okay, we made a mistake. We will get your money for deliveries. We will get your money for products, and so on. And we just made a plan how we will repay this, and we rethink our marketing and how we sell things so that we are not doing any losses. And it took us some time, but we fixed everything. So we also learned on doing the right thing and everything.
So learning from your mistakes, but you said that today is so much more competitions, the markets are so much more saturated. How about now? Is social media a good solution for marketing? Is it still e-shop a good solution for your job problems or anything? But it's very, very, very much harder than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's really crazy right now, because from my point, you can do a Shopify store in one day. So somebody that doesn't know anything about e-commerce, he can just register, put his products up and start selling. You don't need me anymore. And other part is his marketing. There are a lot of new players, big one like Temu. They have billions in budget. They buy all the marketing space, So it's hard to get the good money for the ads and to find a way to market everything. So with a lot of competition, with a lot of e-commerce, you have to stand out with service or good products, or good marketing. So it's more focused on everything. Because with that.
There is one, I think that for both of us with Anže, because I think with years we're also very mindful about the technology itself. But it's interesting, it's funny if you know how to use it. And for us going into details and researching and testing, that wasn't a problem. But when I look back now, and when both of us are involved in many different projects, and many of them we work together in, it's one detail that I never actually researched at that time. And I see that it's crucial. Especially now when things are saturated, when things are, any mistakes that you do are much more expensive than at that time. If you don't have product or service that it's not remarkable, something that actually people are willing to talk about, yeah. So it can be whatever. It can be this croissant, If people don't like it and are willing to spread the word, yeah, and if you are not also tackling the human behavior, yeah, and finding that little details actually that really make people's life better, not just if you're now for many young people that can use this stuff that we were using at that time, we were not so young at that time, yeah, are very tempting, and you can do all of this testing and mistakes, yeah. But at the end, it's about people. Either if you are selling a product or a service, yeah. So if this product or service doesn't solve something that is actually tangible, something that can actually make life better, and that can actually be remarkable, yeah. So I say to Jan, this is a really good thing, yeah. Why don't you buy it? Yeah, I like it. Yeah, if you don't have something like this, if you are just, let's say, in a fancy way with fancy technologies, just manipulating people, yeah, then I think it's wrong, yeah. So if I would have to advise myself, yeah, looking back, I would say most of the things don't do them, yeah. So I think that many things that we did together, it was a fun story, not always easy, yeah, especially when you have to look at the, like if you're like submarine going up and down, yeah. But the lessons, the key lesson, yeah, I needed many years to actually start understanding the responsibility, yeah, because even if you, let's say, at the end make profit, make client, if you make a couple of clients happy, I think it's not enough. So now if you want to be successful nowadays, yeah, you need something that is remarkable in this product or service. Otherwise, you are out. It's just a question of time.
Yeah, but the problem is if you look at the YouTube videos to learn about e-commerce, the most of them are like selling how to do dropship stores. Dropshipping is like you don't own physically products, you just have like warehouse, other people's products, and you just promote them and they ship it to the client. But there is, we also tried that, remember? But the problem is you never like have products in your hand, you're not responsible for its quality, you're not responsible for the quality of the service, of delivery and everything. And without that, it's not possible to be successful long term. You have to focus on all the small things.
So we drew a lot of today's conversation from the past. We should look into the future now a little bit. You two are on the complementary fields, e-commerce, digital marketing. What kind of trends and technologies do you see in the future, near future, distant future?
Right now, the most popular thing is like Shopify to like in one day test one ID if this product sells, You don't have to like do the packaging and everything. You can like do a 3D or some just graphic design, how things should look, put 100 euros in the promotion, and you can see if the product is going to be successful or not. You don't have to pay like for all the design, branding, and large stock, And the future is going to be very much related to that large language models like ChatGPT and BART, Cloud, and so on, because you can do a lot of things with that. But now my clients are using it to write better text, you know. If before it was like just one sentence about a product, now they can do like whole page with these are the features and better represent the product with this text. But you can do a lot of things. I was like, I'm still experimenting what you can do, and if you can, when somebody visits, you have like history of him, his location, his time, his habits. You can use this with like these models and get a better prediction what he wants, and maybe do like a chat with him, recommendation of products, and so on.
Reality is what Anže was now saying. AI and everything around AI is super hot right now. It's a bubble that it's expanding. How far it will expand, we don't know. I think that even the people that are developing this, for them it's difficult to predict what will happen in 10, 15 years. We can watch science fiction movies and then we can decide it will go negative or positive. But if we are talking now about our industry that we understand, e-commerce, digital marketing, it's again offering many people, many businesses to actually produce much more than was possible before. But this tool is working within the known data, known information. So it's actually using the, you know, if the mission of Google was, you know, organize all the data in the world, yeah. Now the AI, whichever of those tools are processing all of this, yeah, because human mind can't process, you know, there's a limit, yeah. Can process, digest all of this, yeah. So because this is now so easy, more people are using this, yeah. So it means that every Dick and Harry can actually go and start producing ideas, content, make shop. So it means that things are becoming generic quicker than ever. So if I would have to again give myself one advice, yeah, there is one interesting person that actually I found about, you know, I actually met, you know, started to follow or read more about too late is most probably many people heard about him. Seth Godin, yeah, he's like a, let's say, some people say marketing godfather, yeah, of a new era, yeah. And it's not about the smallest, the biggest possible audience. It's about the smallest viable audience, yeah. So I don't believe that, you know, that we're in time that you have to scale like crazy, going for everyone, yeah. You have to go into details and find that few people that believe in your product or service and are willing to spread the word, yeah. And then you can grow from there. Otherwise, it's difficult, yeah. And especially because of the tools, the AI, yeah. Because everything is becoming generic, so you can create whatever you can imagine. And everybody are doing this, yeah, and more people are doing this. So if you don't have something that actually stands out and provides a value, it's just a question of time when your work, business or company will be replaced. Yeah,
yeah, it's important to like start with the AI and tools like related to start work with that, you know, because if you're doing mailing for the client, before you write one email, you can write now like 15 emails in like a minute or two, you know, and you can test which one is better. And like you can do ads, everything. I use it like third of the time for programming, you know, like having a guy next to me sitting and checking my code or checking the problems in product collections or something like that, you know. And I think clients are more happy with that because I can do more things, I can do it faster, I can do it better. So it's important to focus and to try new things.